Equity Protect scans, monitors, alerts, and most importantly, protects you from any attempts to tamper with or steal your home equity and ownership 24 hours a day. Other companies merely monitor. Equity Protect stops the crime from happening. Find out if you're already a victim or take a free risk assessment today at equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com.
Rocket 1025.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Bright sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 37. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows level off around 19. Slight chance for mixed precipitation tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 42. Overcast skies. Mainly sunny skies Sunday with daytime highs approaching 39. 37 Monday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 40 Tuesday, 50 Wednesday, and 51 on Thursday. Another look at the short range, a high of 37 today. Lows level off around 19 tonight. We should top off around 42 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently, it's 14 degrees.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
Available at Next Tech Wireless in 4 bold colors: black, pink, teal, and ultramarine. Which iPhone 16 color will you choose? Built for Apple Intelligence with the all-new A18 chip, a new feature camera control, and a big boost in battery life. Get the new iPhone 16 on us. Next Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Drive into the new year with incredible deals at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Right now, get a $3,000 total cash allowance on the 24 Chevy Suburban or take home a 25 Chevy Equinox at 2.9% APR financing, plus no payments for 90 days when you finance with GM Financial. Looking for a truck? Get 0% APR on the 24 GMC Sierra 1500 with a 5.3-liter engine for well-qualified buyers and score $3,250 when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Being a Nebraska football fan these past few years and watching this team week in and week out, I kind of compare it to like doing drugs. You know you shouldn't do it, but you can't stop. Kids, don't do drugs.
The region's only local sports talk.
Not this again.
Yes, this again.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Brumbaugh fakes the three, fires it from the corner. Yes!
To the pros.
They set up the screen. McLaughlin has it with Miners out in front. McLaughlin's got a first down inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work. Singleton bottled up for a moment and winds up in the end zone. From the 2, Irish trying to take the lead. He handed it off to Love, who stays on his feet. Love is in the end zone. 8 minutes to go. Singleton, his 3rd touchdown of the night. Minutes to go. 2nd down and 8. Penn State leads by a touchdown. Leonard throws wide open. Jaden Greathouse avoided Jalen Reed and scores. 54 yards. Snap and hold are good. The kick is good.
Good Friday morning, everybody. We are back and rolling on the Morning Blitz on, of course, 102.5 U-Rock, or Rocket 102.5 anymore, NWKSradio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Good morning to everybody out there listening, no matter which way you're doing so. We appreciate you for tuning in and being with us for the next hour or so here on the Morning Blitz. Boy, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Thank God for college football. That was good stuff last night, Maxwell. Hopefully you were able to watch all of that last night because that was good.
It was good stuff. It was a good game. That's what I asked for on the show yesterday. Just a good game, and I know we'll get into it a little more here, but it came down to what I thought it was going to come down to: Penn State turning the ball over.
Yeah, it was. It was a really, really good football game. We got a full show ahead. We will dive into this, more thoughts on the college football playoff and Notre Dame advancing to the national championship. We will get to an NFL playoff Power 5 coming up in segment 2. We'll also make some picks based upon those great games we've got scheduled here coming up in the NFL this weekend with the wild card round. So look forward to talking about that in segment number 2. And of course, high school basketball back on the docket tonight, another full slate. You've got Colby making the long trip down to Hugoton to play in one of the toughest environments, I think, in all of Western Kansas. And then you've got the Goodland Cowboys and Cowgirls both looking to rebound, no pun intended, rebound against Ulysses here at home in the final games of this week. So we will get to that. And, of course, many other great games as well coming up this weekend, too. So including some Mid-Continent League contests. So we will dive into all that coming up here in a little bit with the high school basketball a little bit later on tonight. Then a reminder for something to watch this weekend coming up in the walk-off. Anyway, how you doing this day? You doing good this morning? Feeling good? How was the drive-in with the Jetta? Everything going well? Or did you get picked up again, like driving this day?
No, feeling good. It was one of those mornings where I didn't necessarily have all the time in the world, so you carve out a little hole in your windshield, make it there with a little eye hole in the windshield, but it's a 2-second drive and I'm barely actually on the street. I don't even.
What do you mean you're barely on the street? You're on the sidewalk?
Well, I'm barely on the main road, is what I meant to say. I just go through the neighborhood and then go through the back way here to the station. But yeah, I'm doing good. It was good football last night, obviously, and I'm just so excited to get this playoff started. I've been waiting. I've been watching, and that's all I've been watching is when I'm not watching live sports, I'm watching people talk about the playoffs and that kind of stuff.
The NFL playoffs, by the way. The NFL playoffs, you mean?
Right.
Okay. I want to make sure tomorrow could be a little icy, could be a little windy. So make sure you go get some groceries. Go grab some groceries so you're not starving over the weekend. All right.
I texted in the group chat that I was with people that work at our station that I didn't have, that I was hungry because I didn't really have that much food during the last snowstorm, and I was kind of joking, but people actually were concerned, which was not very nice of them. But people were actually very concerned that I literally did not have either money for food or food at all. Shane and Paul were very concerned for me.
Yeah, don't bring that up to Paul. Paul will take it literally, and he will.
Yeah. So I learned my lesson, not to do that again. But yeah, I'll have food this time. But I'm super pumped to do this 3-hour drive down to Hugoton.
I think you should just be thankful that you get to do it today and not tomorrow, because tomorrow expected to be a little bit more icy in these parts. So please keep that in mind as you are out and about. There is a chance for up to even a chance for some ice and some snow. Very, very slick on Saturday morning between about 5 to 10 or 6 to 11, depending on where you're at. So I know it's mostly going to impact kind of the Burlington, Goodland, St. Francis, Sharon Springs, kind of those towns, Cheyenne Wells as well. It might get into Colby, might get into Russell Springs. You just never know. But it could be a little slick coming up here on Saturday. So be aware of that. Might want to get some ice melt and some things like that to prevent having any accidents. There's a lot of people I was talking to at the basketball game that slipped and fell during the last couple of storms. So just keep that in mind. And maybe it's just best if you don't have anywhere to go, just not to go anywhere. So yeah, long trip down south today. Got it all routed out. You know where you're going, how you're going to get there?
Yeah. Even talking to the players yesterday, they're not too thrilled. They don't like this drive either, which makes sense. They're like,
why do we even have on the bus?
Why do we have to even play these guys? Like, they want it. They're excited to play. Obviously, they're competitors, but they were like, why do we got to? They just don't understand why we have to play them. I'm like, well, to be honest, who else are they going to play?
It's a league.
They're down in the middle of nowhere. So, it is what it is. But get it out of the way. Get it out of the way earlier in the season than later, I guess. I don't know. Trying to think of it a little positive.
Just bite.
You've been doing it. You've been doing it for 10 years, so it's like nothing.
Right. So just bite your tongue and away you go.
That's what we're doing.
If you're a kid, you get to ride the bus. You don't have to drive. Shoot, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I hate them. I rode so many buses this summer across the Appalachians, and first of all, no offense to those bus drivers, but not the best of the bus drivers. It was some rough rides, but I'm not a guy that can fall asleep in a moving vehicle. Are you? I can't fall asleep in planes easily at all.
I gotta be pretty tired, but I can get it done. But I gotta be pretty tired.
That helps.
Apparently, our listeners in Kansas City, morning Brian, morning Papa Gersh, 4 to 6 inches of snow last night.
Yeah, they got hit hard last night.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very this never happens there.
Tell you what, soon Danny's back and forearms and biceps are going to be matching his calves here soon with all that snow shoveling he's got to do.
It's true. He has for one of his birthdays, he got a big snow machine thing.
Snowblower?
Snowblower, yeah.
A snow machine.
No, but it's not just a normal snowblower. It's this huge thing that just, I don't even know how to explain what it was. I don't know if he's listening.
Does he walk behind it and kind of push it, or is it one that attaches? Does he have like a little tractor that it attaches to, or?
Honestly, I don't even remember. But I just
Danny, if you're listening, chime in. I'd like to know your snow machine.
Maybe Papa Gersh knows, but
hopefully, Danny, if you're listening, FNB Bank text line 785-899-2222. Comment on Facebook if you want to. Got to know what about the snow machine that your son is bragging about.
It's probably even not that cool. I just remember he was excited he got it.
Son, it's a piece of cardboard that I used to move the snow with. By the way, the FB Bank text line is always open at 785-899-2222. Get your thoughts, your comments, your opinions in throughout the show. We'd love to hear from you and converse with you throughout the program. But let's get rolling. Let's dive back into last night. A very good football game. Boy, if you love football, that was one to watch. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish beating the Penn State Nittany Lions 27-14 after a very slow start to the game. No score after the first 15 minutes. Penn State had a 10-0 lead. Notre Dame goes down and scores before half, led by the backup quarterback of all people, as Steve Angeli gets in there and helps lead the Irish. He goes 6 of 7 for 44 yards, leading the Irish down the field to get a field goal right before halftime, which was huge when you think about this football game. And then in the second half, after both teams made some adjustments, things kind of took off. Notre Dame got a third quarter touchdown, and then the fourth, everybody was getting touchdowns. They were finding the end zone. And just if you love running the football, if you love tough physical football, this was a game to watch. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen ran like madmen. They ran for 166 yards last night and 3 combined touchdowns, all of them from Nicholas Singletary, excuse me. And then you had Jeremiah Love, Riley Leonard, the running back quarterback combination, go out there and run the ball very well. And boy, there were some tough runs. That Jeremiah Love run was really impressive early in the fourth quarter, and then lots of tough running from Penn State. I honestly thought Penn State had this thing won. There was a time in the game where I was watching, I was like, Penn State's got the lead. I think they were up maybe 17-10. I think that's what the score was. They were up 17-10. And I sat there and thought, I don't know if Notre Dame can stop their running attack. I don't know if they can do that. There was some real thoughts during my mind. I just don't think that they can stop the rushing attack of this Penn State team. They were just getting anything they wanted physically up front, running the football. And then all of a sudden, Notre Dame found a way to get off the field. Notre Dame's offense found a kind of got in gear and found its footing, despite Riley Leonard, having more interceptions than touchdowns last night. But as Kirk Herbstreit said on the pregame show, I remember Kirk Herbstreit said, I'm going to take Notre Dame because I think they're going to get a turnover late that's going to help win this game. And by God, he was spot on. Drew Aller, with plenty of time to go down the field and score and try and win the game for Penn State, as they said on the telecast, does what every quarterback should not do unless you are Patrick Mahomes, throw back to the opposite side of the field because he overshot his wide receiver, and it was a turnover, and a really, really bad one at that. And that was it. That set up the Irish for the game-winning field goal by Jeter. I forget his first name. But
did you think he was going to make that?
Mitch Jeter.
Did you think he was going to make that? I thought this was the most
obvious. Not too often.
This was the most obvious missed college field goal.
Just remember, there was a great stat before the kick in fourth quarter game-winning field goals in the college football playoffs history. Kickers were 0 for 4.
Yeah,
so he was the first one to do it.
That's what I'm saying. It was just all culminating. I'm like,
and how about that kick? As you were watching it, I mean,
it goes right, and then it goes
slice. As someone described it as, it's the slice draw.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was like, all right, it's missing. Nope. It looked like a remote control was controlling it. It was an interesting shape to that kick, but I was talking to some friends, and I was like, this is the most obvious. Like, get ready for overtime because this is the most obvious missed kick. And
I thought we were going to
nailed
overtime.
I did too, and because especially they were playing a little passive, especially after watching what happened to Texas. Like, I just am not a big fan, especially in college football, of like, let's just run it out and let our kicker kick a 48-yard field goal. Let's get him some more room. Let's play a little more aggressive because you never know what's going to happen with these kickers. But they were on the good side, the right side of history there.
Don't talk about something that you can't do, Max.
What happened?
Don't talk about kicking field goals. You couldn't kick field goals.
Isn't that the whole show is us talking about things we can't do? Isn't that sports talk? But here's some notes. Here's some notes I wrote down. Just a couple things, couple narratives, I guess you could say, of just things coming from this game. First of all, Abdul Carter is going to make a difference on an NFL team wherever he goes because he is a dude.
Yep, he's good.
Penn State. He is fantastic, and he really stood out. And we were talking the last few days about young coaches, but a young coach that's also a leader of men, Marcus Freeman.
Oh,
this guy is fantastic. He is one of my favorite coaches in the league. And I'm not saying that he should be an NFL coach just yet, or maybe he's not ready, or maybe wouldn't translate, but I think he should get an interview. Because he is what we were talking about, a young coach that is a leader of men, and he has done a fantastic job at Notre Dame. So I want to get your thoughts on that, because that's what I was thinking about when I was watching his post-game interview last night.
Well, I have always... there's a show on Peacock called Here Come the Irish, and it's pretty much just this. It's just a 6 to 7 episode show where they kind of follow the Irish through the football season, and it's based on this year. And I've watched it all because I love that kind of stuff. That's some of my favorite shows to watch. And look, I knew Marcus Freeman was a good guy, and I thought I didn't know if he was a great coach. I knew he was a great defensive coordinator. Remember, he was the DC at Cincinnati when they had that great run, which pretty much helped him get this job. But my thought was like you, watching him on the podium, watching him in game, my thought was, boy, Notre Dame hit a grand slam.
Oh,
they really couldn't have gotten a whole lot better. A man, the qualifications for Notre Dame are not easy to be the head coach or a coach there. I mean, they want to, if we're being completely honest, they want a very clean cut person. They want someone who's got a little bit of they want someone that has some faith, and more than likely, I don't know this for a fact, but they're gonna make faith a part of your deal, whether you like it or not.
I think that's a fair assumption. I mean, it's Notre Dame.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean about it, but
no.
I think, and I could be wrong on this, but I thought I read somewhere, he's not Catholic, but I think he actually went and took I don't know if he went and did some types of studies and things like that to be more understanding of it or even become Catholic. I'm not for sure on that. Don't quote me, but that would be a lot to ask of some people. And to throw on the fact that he is a minority coach, I don't care what he's Asian, Pacific, and African-American all at the same time, which I don't care about. I think it's so dumb that they continue to bring it up. But at the same time, and he does too, but he is phenomenal. A great leader of men, a really good football coach. And I love how he does handle himself at the podium and with the microphone. He's fantastic. He's great. Notre Dame hit a grand slam. And go watch him in that Here Come the Irish on Peacock. Go watch him. He's great in the recruiting. He's really good with boosters. There's nothing he can't do. He's great. There's not many coaches that can do everything that he does. He's fantastic. And I really like him, and I'm happy that he got this win. Not that I have anything against James Franklin. I think James Franklin is a good coach too, and a good man too. But he's really good. I'm very impressed. But I kind of already was, but it more reassured it last night.
Definitely,
Marcus Freeman and how good he was.
And that's what I'm saying. I think you should. I think if you're a team like the Bears, team like the Raiders, I think you reach out. Get an interview. I don't see the problem in it. I think he deserves it because he's a fantastic coach that is just continuing to improve and show it.
What he wants more. Like I would be intrigued. Not that he would tell anybody besides.
Definitely.
But I'd be intrigued to know what he wants out of his career. Because
I'm 100% with you.
If he's playing for a national championship at Notre Dame, I don't know if there's much better you can get. And give him a ton of credit because remember Brian Kelly, who's a good coach in his own mind, said, really pretty much said in other words, I came to LSU because you can't really win at Notre Dame. You can't do what you want to do at Notre Dame. And what do we have?
We have Brian Kelly not even in the
playoffs. And Marcus Freeman now playing for a national championship. Now, I will be fascinated to see as this goes along. I think this is only year 2 for Marcus Freeman. Am I right on that? Look that up. Crack research team. Look that up. Marcus Freeman, is this year 2 or year 3? I don't think it's any more than that. But I was going to say, if it's only year 2, let's just remember that sometimes, it's the previous coaching staffs that went out and recruited some great players, and then this guy's
year 3.
So it's year 3. Okay. So I'll give him more credit. But he's and you'll hear in this documentary, if you go watch, they talk about how good he is about selling to NFL dads to have their son come play for them. There's a lot of former NFL players' sons that play at Notre Dame. And the thing that stands out to me, maybe the most impressive, and you saw it last night, is how they have developed depth. This is not just a great starting lineup and that's it. Think about it. The backup Angeli goes in there, goes 6 of 7. They lost not one but 2 offensive linemen in the game, including the left tackle, and they had their moments of struggles, but they put it together and that kind of went along.
Fantastic. It's a fantastic defensive line.
Defensively, they're missing their best defensive lineman. He's out. Riley Mills is out. He got injured in the Indiana game. He's done for the rest of the year. He was at the captain's coin toss on crutches. Huge human mountain of a man. And so Riley Mills is out. They lost one of their best starting cornerbacks, So they've got a freshman playing opposite of the Christian Gray who made the pick late. They got a true freshman playing the opposite. It don't matter. They still play. And they've got great. They got a great defensive their safety and Watts in the backside. They've got a 6-year starter at linebacker and Jack Kaiser. They've got a really good team. And so to me, they've been injured, but it doesn't matter. They just keep rolling. And that to me is great coaching and fantastic development. And at Notre Dame, you kind of have to be that. Like the quote was used during the telecast, like, hey, you know what? We're not going to be a program that majors in the transfer portal. We're going to minor in it. They brought in 13 guys from the portal, including Riley Leonard, who's been a great addition as the quarterback, obviously. So they can, and because of their high academic and other things that they need to fill, you can't really live in the transfer portal that much. So you have to recruit the kids to go and be there. And it's been a very impressive run for Notre Dame. Sometimes you just kind of get the right group of guys together and it all kind of goes. And I feel like this might be one of those scenes. I don't know if we'll see Notre Dame do this again, but I'll tell you, Notre Dame is in such a great spot because they have earned the right of being one of the great blue bloods of college football. And because they remain independent, all they have to do is pretty much win all their games but one, and they're in the college football playoff almost every year. And they don't play a conference schedule. They don't tend to, and if they do play conference teams, it's usually from weaker conferences like the ACC and the lower Big Ten teams. They don't play the real dogs. They just, and this is not a shade at Notre Dame. They play maybe one or two really hard games throughout the year, and then the rest are kind of just, not I'm not going to say below average, but right around average teams that you play, and they get those wins. They put them in the college football playoff. So they're in a great spot. And that's why going back to my point, interesting to know what Marcus Freeman thinks about this job. Is this where he wants to be for the rest of his life? If Ohio State, where his alma mater is, if they call, does he want to go there? I could see that for sure. Or the NFL, like you said, maybe.
Yeah, I think you make a great point of what he wants to do, and every coach is different if they want to, if they have higher hopes in their career of making the NFL or not. Talking about Penn State though, I don't think Drew Aller there was a lot of people saying he was a lottery pick, that he was a top 3 overall pick. Maybe not this year, but last year especially. He's not what we thought. Unfortunately, I don't know if maybe, he's got the offense coordinator from KU. KU fans know, Jason Bean
called a good game.
He did call a good game, and Penn State was honestly played better than I thought they would against Notre Dame. But that pick, you just can't make it. You just can't make that pick, and unfortunately, there's been a lot of that.
I feel bad for Drew. If you saw him on the sideline after that pick, he was sick to his stomach. You could see it.
Rightfully so, but unfortunately. But let's talk about Franklin for a second. I remember, probably a month ago, I said on the show, I can't imagine a world where he's holding up a trophy at the end of the year. They're the bronze medal school. He's proved it again with this. And, we talk about Ryan Day, and everyone talks about Ryan Day, how he can't win the big game. 1-18 versus top 5 teams for James Franklin in his career. So he's continued to just come up just short. And it stinks because he's a fantastic coach, and they win a lot of football games. And I'm not sure you can get anything better than James Franklin, but unfortunately they've just been a step short for all of these years now. And it stings.
It's a very, very difficult school to recruit to. Happy Valley is kind of in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. It's difficult to get in. It's difficult to get there. So you really can't fly in directly. You've got to fly in and then drive. So it's difficult to get very, very top end talent. I think James Franklin he's turning the corner. Look, the tough part about it is he won 2 games in the college football playoff, but people are going to say those don't count because they were against SMU and Boise State. That's the sad part.
Which is unfortunately a fair point.
He's not going to get credit for it. He's 2-1 in the college football playoff. He's 2-1. But it doesn't matter. They're going to be like, well, those were against SMU and Boise State. He had an easy path to get there. They're not lying, but at the same time, that's the path that they will take it. So I don't know. Drew Aller, I think he's just not the kid I think maybe they thought he was going to be. And I'm not trying to throw shade. He just doesn't throw the ball down the field. And maybe that's what they don't want to do. They just don't throw the ball down the field. And maybe it's because they don't have any really good wide receivers. Maybe that's why. Maybe they just don't have any good wide receivers for the ball to. Yes, they have Tyler Warren, who's fantastic, had over 100 receptions this year. He was great. But they just, outside of that, and on the perimeter, they just don't have a lot of guys to throw the ball to. Or either that or Drew Aller does not trust himself throwing the ball to those guys. One of the two. And that's the next step. They've always had pretty good running backs, and they can run the football very well. But you know what? You might have to, if you're James Franklin, you might have to change things up. How different would this game have been if Prebola, whatever his name, the backup quarterback who was at Penn State, who played a lot this year and was kind of the running threat, what if he was available instead of being, I think, now in the portal and at Missouri? What if he's available? This game might be different. I honestly think Penn State was at their best when they had Trace McSorley and, of course, Saquon Barkley and those guys. When they had a running quarterback, that's when they were at their best. And they kind of went to Drew Aller, who can throw the ball a little bit more. I don't know if it's the best way to go or not. I don't know. They have to develop more of a down the field passing game. I think most people would say that that's the next step for Penn State. And Drew Aller's coming back next year, so maybe they're able to develop that in his game. But he just does not have a lot of faith in his passing game down the field, and that hurts.
Is he staying at Penn State?
Yes, he's back for next year.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
So is Gershon Beck, by the way. He's staying in college too for another year. I don't know.
Right. That was great. Well, everyone knows where he's going.
Yeah, we know. Miami.
He's going to Miami.
He's following his lady.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I know. Yeah. Great game last night. 27-24 Irish over the Nittany Lions. They're going to try and play for their 12th national championship, but they're first in, over almost 3 decades. I mean, it's been a while. Great story there in the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Tonight you got Texas, Ohio State. What are you feeling on this game real quickly? I'm feeling Ohio State. Just to be frank, Texas needs to play a lot better than they did against Arizona State if they want to have a chance in this one or even keep it close. Ohio State is just look. I mean, we could see there's 2 Ohio States, I guess we could see, but judging from last week, this is a motivated bunch, and they if they carry anything over from last week, could have a potential to be a runaway. But Ohio State's the best team in the college football playoffs. Left, their offense is just so talented, and it's going to be hard. I mean, Texas couldn't stop Arizona State, and they're pretty one-dimensional. So if they had problems with Arizona State, they're going to have problems with Ohio State. So I'm worried about that. I know Texas defense is extremely talented, though. So I just don't see a world where Ohio State is not in the championship next week. Yeah, it'd be hard for me to say that, too. I just feel like Ohio State, I heard this on a show, and I couldn't agree more. They're a team that is made up of high-end talent that is highly paid thanks to their NIL operation. I think they're the highest paid roster in all of college football this year, over $20-some-odd million on their roster. They're the highest paid roster, and now they have a chip on their shoulder. The loss to Michigan might have been the best thing that ever happened to them. It was a wake-up call. Maybe them getting the flag planted in the O was a wake-up call saying, we cannot let this happen again. That's what I've been saying. That's what I was saying. The pants off of everybody since, and I don't think it probably stops tonight with Texas. 100%. That's what I've been saying is that they needed that Michigan loss. Sometimes it takes that. Sometimes teams in every sport need a loss to wake them up, and then they go on a run. It reminds me of the Chiefs losing to the Raiders on Christmas last year. You could look at Notre Dame, that loss to Northern Illinois. Well, that was what I forgot to mention. Notre Dame. They have this crazy chance to lose to Northern Illinois and win a championship in the same year. First team ever to lose to Northern Illinois and play for a national championship. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who would have thought after that game that they would be here? Not I. I thought it was done. Sometimes you hit those bumps in the road. Remember, they went to A&M and won, and that was a really big win. Luckily for them, it was early in the year. You know, that could change if that was later in the year. You're exactly right. You don't want to have your hiccup game come late in the year. That will do you in. Nope. So right now you've got Ohio State is a 6-point favorite. Okay. The only thing that could be interesting is that this is played in Dallas, and so you've got only a 4 hour trip from Austin to Dallas to watch this game. So you would expect a lot of burnt orange in the crowd, but Ohio State will travel. I feel like they're just playing on another level. Will Howard returning to the scene where he won the Wildcats of Kansas State a Big 12 championship. Kind of a neat story there. I'm with you. I think Ohio State's got way too much, and they are way too inspired right now to be slowed by Texas. Just don't let Sark get near their kicker again. Cover Matthew Golden. That'd be key number 1 for Ohio State. Cover Matthew Golden. Right. And then don't let Matthew Golden get open. That'd be number 2. And then for Texas, it's don't let Sark get near your kicker. Yeah, don't talk to the kicker. Don't put your hands on the shoulders of the kicker. That was Auburn hard to watch. So good. Auburn not doing so good. No. FNB Bank text line. Thank you to the texters chiming in. Stan chiming in the FNB Bank text line. He does say that Marcus Room did become Catholic in 2022, so he even converted. There you go. See, I mean, like I said, you don't find that stuff very much. A couple comments on the Facebook talking about the kick that won the game from Jeter.
Yeah, the old
Grandpa
draw
said
slice.
that. I hit drives like that. It's very, very true. And also going back to the snowblower, because Grandpa Gersh is very active this morning. It's a walk behind, but it's a big snowblower.
Okay, big snowblower. Well, I tell you, that thing's probably getting a lot of work this week.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
That's
I'm
good.
sure.
Awesome. Big walk behind snowblower. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
You open up the garage door and you fire it up.
Yep.
Nice.
Maybe it's something.
It must be. Don't stand in front of it. Maybe it'll gobble you up. By the way, Michael chiming in, FB Bank text line, says it was funny. Franklin was saying how all teams need to be in conference, pretty much saying Notre Dame has an easy way to the playoffs. They do. Notre Dame has 5 top 25 wins this season, and Penn State has 2 other losses through Ohio State and Oregon. Didn't play anyone more than that. Well, to an extent. You make a great point, Michael. Make a great point.
I mean, KU had more top 25 wins than Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean KU's better than Texas.
There's going to be years, though, where Notre Dame doesn't play
right.
5 teams like that. And I guarantee if they still go 14-0 or 13-1, they're still going to be in the playoff, even if they don't play a top 25 team.
Yeah.
This year, it just kind of added up that way, Michael. So that's my opinion on that. All right, let's get to a break. We'll come back, talk a little NFL playoffs, and do our NFL Power 5 Wild Card edition next year on the Morning Blitz.
Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And now they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafé, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
It's time now for news from the world of agriculture on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
For the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network, I'm Caitlin Walters. The new year brings continued questions about possible U.S. beef herd expansion. Scott Varelick of KKV Trading says it's tough to hold back heifers to begin that expansion when those heifers bring good money to the operation.
That's the other side. You feel like this is my year to capitalize and to cash in. And for a lot of our older generation ranchers, it's absolutely that. We have such a labor shortage and challenges of our own, higher input costs. So it makes it a little bit easier just to load a few extra on the truck rather than say, I'm going to keep a few extras back. It's a lot easier to send them on along the way. And I think that's why we're at all-time highs.
It's not financially worth it right now for producers to begin expanding their herds.
We haven't had enough of the dollars trickling all the way down to the cow-calf guys. So the market had to say, this is why, we're at high prices because we're unable to do it for this price. And the market's kind of fixing itself. So it's just very frustrating that we have the beef market that we have to raise less numbers to get the market to rally. That's really all that we have, the leverage that the packer has with all the formula cattle. And I think this is your after effects of what's happening from all of that.
It appeared that the herd had finally begun a rebuild in October.
I really thought that we were too. There was a little bit of a time frame where it was going to happen. And I think that big 5 to 6 week rally really pulled it off. So, and then we have to note as well, it's starting to dry out in some cow-calf country in the north. We'll decide on the south how much rain that looks like. They had a little bit of a boost of moisture there this fall. But if we'd start to dry out, that could be the next thing that's going to curb it and pull it back in again.
That was Scott Varelick with KKV Trading. For the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network, I'm Caitlin Walters.
Help maximize your yield potential and savings with 0% financing on leading fungicides from BASF. You can't beat 0%, especially when you could save big on consistent performing fungicides like Revitec fungicide and Veltima fungicide until March 15, 2025. 0% financing means keeping more in your wallet for better ROI. Talk to your BASF retailer today about the Grower Finance Program. Subject to credit approval, terms and conditions. See BASF Grower Finance Program for details.
Drive into the new year with incredible deals at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Right now, get a $3,000 total cash allowance on the 24 Chevy Suburban or take home a 25 Chevy Equinox with 2.9% APR financing, plus no payments for 90 days when you finance with GM Financial. Looking for a truck? Get 0% APR on the 24 GMC Sierra 1500 with a 5.3-liter engine for well-qualified buyers and score $3,250 when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
Catch up on all the latest headlines, scores, and interviews from the region. This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer, your daily dose of sports.
7:41 Mountain Time, 7:42 actually, and now 8:42 in the Central Time Zone. Ross and Max with you here on a Friday edition of the Morning Blitz. We will get to some thoughts on the high school basketball slate tonight, coming up here in our final segment. Fun talking about the college football playoff and that great game last night between Notre Dame and Penn State just a few moments ago. Let's transition to the NFL, where it is wild card weekend. Oh, Max is extremely excited. Your tush will be glued all day Saturday to watching and Sunday to that, won't you?
Yeah. I'm not moving. You will not see me. You won't see me. No one will see me. I'll be on the couch watching football.
And so there are 6 games that will be played here over the course of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday, and 1 into Monday. So what better way to talk about these games than with an old friend in the NFL Power 5?
So one game is going to be left off, basically.
Yes, one game will be left off. So let's start with your honorable mention game. What game is left off in your side of things?
My honorable mention, and I can guarantee you it's on. Well, I actually can't guarantee, but I would bet it's on your list. Broncos-Bills is my honorable mention game that is going to be left off. Sorry, Broncos fans, but I feel pretty confident the Bills. Look, I will low-key be rooting for you kind of thing. It's not going to be a full, die-hard rooting for you, but I'll be rooting for you guys because I think watching Josh Allen.
Why is that game so low on your totem pole?
Because I don't see it's a rookie quarterback going up against the Bills. Which is
so as much as you're pulling for the Broncos, you believe that Josh Allen and the Bills are too much for them to handle. Pretty much.
I have the Bills by 18.
18?
I have the Bills by 18.
Wow. Okay.
I think it might be close for a bit, but I see them pulling away. I would guess I'm thinking 28-10 in that range, 28-13 kind of range. That's just my opinion. Look, Broncos fans, if you want to pull an upset, come to Arrowhead, be my guest. I'm just saying that's kind of the vibe I'm getting right now from that game. So might change, but that's just what I'm thinking right now. So that's my honorable mention.
All right. My honorable mention game is actually, I want to double check this. Yeah, it's actually the Monday night game. It's the game that got moved. It was supposed to be played in LA, but because of those horrible fires that are going on, it has been moved. And so now it is going to be the Minnesota Vikings at the LA Rams. I don't know why.
That's your honorable mention?
Yeah. I don't know. The Rams are not sexy to me. I don't know why. They don't intrigue me. The Vikings kind of do, but golly, the way they played against the Lions was not great. Sam Darnold kind of reverted back to the way he looked at times. I don't know. That game doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. It doesn't. I just don't have it. I'll watch it, but I don't really, whatever.
Interesting, because that's high up on my list.
It's fine. It's not on mine.
I was thinking we were going to have a different list because we normally will have this quite similar. But
maybe we won't. Maybe this time we will not. All right, let's continue on.
Power 5, number 5.
All right, what do you got here?
Number 5, I've got the Chargers versus the Texans. Texans have been playing some rough football of late. I know they won last week, but just when their starter, they're not healthy. It's been rough. I think a lot of people are counting them out, though, which is interesting. A lot of people are really giving the Chargers this game already. But I wouldn't count the Tech. They have CJ Stroud, they have Joe Mixon, they have Nico Collins, and a solid defense, with D'Amico Ryans as their head coach. So I wouldn't count them out fully. However, I do think the Chargers are going to win this game. I don't think that I don't have a strong feeling about it like a lot of people do, that the Chargers are going to win. They're already running off the Texans. This is going to be a good game. CJ Stroud won a playoff game last year. Herbert still has not won a playoff game yet. Remember last time he was in the playoffs, they choked that big lead to the Jaguars. So it'll be interesting to see. This is most likely the team that's going to be going to Arrowhead next week. So I'm very interested in that game, but that's my number 5.
Yeah, believe it or not, that's my number 5 as well. The Chargers at the Texans. Houston has not been playing great as of late. They do have the talent, but boy, they've been hit by a lot of injuries at some key spots, particularly at the wide receiver. I would agree. I don't think you completely can throw them away, but you have the best coach in football Jim Harbaugh on the other sideline, who just knows the game at another level like nobody else does. And he's got a quarterback that he likes, and he runs the football, and they play great defense. I just think they get it done on the road. I don't know why, but I feel like it's the Chargers' game to lose. They're the best rushing. They're the best defensive team in points per game at 17.7 points. They're not going to allow many points to this Texans offense, and they're going to find a way to get enough points offensively to get it done. I just think I'd give me the Chargers.
Best coach in football.
I think he is. He is the best coach. How many guys can you say have won at all the different levels that he has been at?
Yeah,
San Diego, Stanford, which is like Notre Dame, moving on to Michigan, or then in the 49ers, taking them all the way to the Super Bowl to go to Michigan to win a national championship, and now to be back in the playoffs in the first time with the Chargers. It don't matter. Anywhere that man coaches, it is gold. Best coach in football, Jimmy Harbaugh. Crazy, but sometimes you got to be a little nuts. All right, let's move on here. We are in the NFL Power 5 wildcard edition with
Number 4.
Number 4 for me is the Commanders versus the Buccaneers. These are two offenses that are really exciting to watch, and this could be high scoring. I mean, Jay Daniels to lead this team to no one thought the Commanders would be the 5. What are they, the 5 seed? Yeah, right. No, 6 seed. 6 seed, I believe. 6 seed. No one thought they'd be in the playoffs regardless. Look, this is a team that's really exceeded expectations. Jaden Daniels has played fantastic throughout this entire season. And it's been really fun to watch, his dynamic ability to run and throw the football. And then you got this Buccaneers offense that a lot of people counted them out when they had that big injury bug with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin kind of happening at the same time. And then here they are, and Baker has just really revived his career with this Buccaneers team. So, I'm kind of leaning towards the Bucs a little bit just because I guess they have a little more experience, but I don't know. This is kind of anyone's game, and I'm really excited to see how these two teams match up. And Mike Evans, just reminding me, that play that they let Mike Evans get that 1,000-yard season again. What were your thoughts on that? Because I thought it was sick.
It was great to see. I loved watching all the guys come off the field to celebrate with them. I think that's great. I actually have more of a thought on that whole deal on incentive-based contracts, but I don't have time to get into that spiel right now. But I have a lot of thoughts on incentive-based contracts.
Okay.
A lot.
But anyway, that's my number 4, Commanders versus Bucs.
All right, moving on. My number 4 in the NFL Power 5 wildcard edition, Steelers at Ravens. This game, to me, these two teams hate each other. I just feel like if Baltimore is locked in, I just don't know if Pittsburgh has enough offensive firepower to hang with them. I just don't know if they do. That's the reason why this game is lower. I just feel like Baltimore's offense, when they are locked in, when you've got Andrews and Flowers and Henry and Jackson.
They don't have Flowers.
Zay Flowers not playing, is that right?
No, he got hurt week 18.
Okay, so they've got plenty of other great pieces.
Right, still.
I don't know if Pittsburgh's methodical offense can keep up with that. And that's why I think their defense, don't get me wrong, Pittsburgh's defense is fantastic. They're a top 10 defense, but so is Baltimore's defense. So I sit here and I'm thinking, you know what? This game doesn't show, because I think the Ravens they're 10-point favorites in a playoff game in the NFL. That's a lot of points. And
sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
I just think that's a big spread. And I think that's why I think the Ravens probably take care of business. That's what I think. So give me the Ravens, I think, in the NFL Power 5. That's my number 4 game at this point in time. So that's where I'm at this time, I should say. So anyway,
think about the last, 3 playoff games that the Steelers have been in. I mean, they've the Bills and then the Chiefs. And now the Ravens. I don't even think they've been single-digit underdog. I think they've been double-digit underdogs in their last 3 playoff games, which is ridiculous. Anyway.
All right. Moving on. What do you got?
My number 3. Number 3 is going to be Vikings versus the Rams. This is I really do like this game. I mean, think of all the wide receiver talent in this game. You've got Puka, you've got Cooper Kupp, you've got Jordan Addison, you've got Justin Jefferson.
Maybe that's why I don't like it, because I'm all about running the football.
Well, that is probably true. Well, I mean, you still, you've got the Rams don't really have a running back, but you've got Aaron Jones for the Vikings. Regardless, if Matthew Stafford has good protection, this could be there's no limit to how far this offense could go if they have protection. The Rams are really fun to watch, and now it's in a mutual site because of all the things going on in LA. So they're playing in Arizona, which it's like if you were going to pick one home field advantage to take away that wouldn't make a difference, it would be LA because, it'd probably be purple. That stadium would most likely be purple in a Rams playoff game because, they just don't get a lot
They
of
don't show up.
They just don't show up. So it'll be interesting to see. And I'm just excited. There's just talent on both these offenses. And we saw the Rams score, go to that shootout against the Bills. I'm telling you, if Matthew Stafford has time to throw the football, this team has the chance to make it far, make a run. But it all depends on if he has time to throw the football and if their defense can get stops and get off the field when they need to.
My number 3 is going to be Washington at Tampa Bay. You already mentioned this game. I love the quarterback matchup. You've got the young gun, and then you've got the guy who's finally found a home, and all he does is win in Baker Mayfield there at Tampa Bay. Not saying he wins all the time, but he wins when it matters, and he puts his team in the postseason. And I'm intrigued. In this Washington story, I'm very intrigued about it. This team that Washington has put together, has assembled, can they get it done on the road to Tampa Bay? I don't know. I think they possibly could. Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite because they're just at home. But if you play this neutral site game, that's probably a toss-up. So I think this game's interesting. Number 3, Washington, Tampa Bay in my NFL playoff Power 5. All right, let's move on to the top 2.
Number 2
for me is the Packers at the Eagles. 7 versus 2, kind of high for a 7 versus 2. But look, the Packers aren't really a 7 seed, but they have been struggling. Their loss to the Bears is rough, and I don't know how healthy. They're all going to be healthy. Jordan Love will be fine. The question is Jalen Hurts, who wasn't cleared early in this concussion protocol. I know a couple days ago he wasn't cleared. I'll have to recheck that up, but he'll be fine. I'm sure he's going to play. And does it even matter because they have Saquon Barkley? So this is going to be a fascinating matchup. I think the Packers, when they're playing their best football, can compete with the Eagles, and I'm hoping that they can play their best football to create an entertaining football game. And possibly upset the Eagles, but this is going to be a tough matchup for them. But I do think this is going to be a good game because you've got Jordan Love and you've got this Packers offense that is one of my favorites. It is really fun to watch because Matt LaFleur creates a really good game plan. Josh Jacobs has been a great running back and a great addition for them all year. And they've got a decent receiving core. I know Christian Watson tore his ACL, and that's terrible for them. But look, I think this is going to be a fun matchup, and the Eagles do not have an easy first round. Neither the Bills, but I would say I see this as more potential for an upset than the AFC 7 versus 2.
I'll have more thoughts on this game coming up here in just a little bit because it's my number 1 game. But my number 2 game is actually the game that you left off the chart. I think Bills and Broncos. I'm fascinated because Denver's defense has been really good. They've been so good about rushing the quarterback and putting pressure on quarterbacks. I think they set the franchise record for sacks this year. They've been so good at pushing quarterback. Can they find a way to do that while also keeping Josh Allen in containment? Can they find a way to do that? Their defense has been very good all season as Denver Broncos. So my number 2 game would be Denver at Buffalo because that defense is good. The question is, can Bo Nix find enough offense to beat Josh Allen? And the problem is it's probably going to take a lot more points than what you probably want to try and score. But I'm also fascinated with how much confidence does routing the Chiefs, even if it's the backup units, putting up that amount of points that in the final game, how much does that carry over into this game at Buffalo? I honestly am not going to be surprised if we see Denver leading at one point in time early in the game.
I agree. That's what I said. I agree.
So I won't be surprised we see them, but great quarterbacks have given the Broncos defense fits, and that's probably why the Broncos will probably come up a little bit short, but I still think this game is going to be more entertaining than people think. So that's why it makes up a number 2 for me. I think it's way more entertaining game. So number 2, Broncos at Bills. And of course, numero uno.
Number 1,
the division rival. It's a division playoff game between the Steelers and the Ravens. And just the 2 logos next to each other hold so much weight for a playoff football game. And it's exciting. I know the Steelers have been playing absolutely terrible football offensively over the last 4 or 5, however long it's been. But, you've got an experienced quarterback. You have the weapons. The Ravens are kind of known for playing down in the playoffs with Lamar Jackson. I'm interested to see how he's going to do, but history shows that he kind of doesn't play as well when the playoffs come around, which is for whatever reason just is what it is. But I think they're going to commit to the run after what happened in their playoff loss last year, and it's going to come down to if they can get rid of the football, or I mean, excuse me, if they can run the football, then they have a good chance to win this football game because they're so good at running the dang football. So I'm obviously leaning towards the Ravens, but this is just a division game in the playoffs. They split in the regular season. Tough nose. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, that's football right there. There's no doubt about it. My number one game is going to be the Packers at Philadelphia. Yes, it'd be great if Christian Watson was healthy for Green Bay, but I tell you what, they've just found ways to win no matter what this year. I know they've kind of stunk it up down the stretch, as you mentioned, but I don't know. If you're Philadelphia and you're like, God, this is the 7 seed that we got, this stinks for us finishing number 2, because this Philadelphia team, when healthy, is talented. Holy cow. They've got people on both sides of the ball. This Eagle team is really good. It's not going to shock me one bit if they are in the Super Bowl, because they have got a lot of good pieces. But the problem is, I think maybe their toughest game of the postseason might be in game number 1, minus, of course, the Lions. But the Green Bay is going to be difficult, very difficult to get done. But I know, I just, when I think about all the pieces that Philadelphia has, Barkley, Hurts, Smith, Brown, you can just go Goddard and whoever else they've got. I mean, in the best offensive line maybe in football, especially at least running the football, that's a hard thing to stop. And then defensively, Jalen Carter. They've got all kinds of great pieces on that defense as well. But Green Bay, they're just that team. Like, you're like, how are they doing this? I don't know how they're doing this, but they're doing it. And that can sometimes be even more scary than the teams that are doing it because they're really talented. It's because they have almost like a secret potion or something that's getting them over the finish line. So there you go. My number 1 game, Green Bay at Philadelphia. So there you go. The NFL playoff wildcard edition, Power 5. So it should be interesting. By the way, text line chiming in, FB Bank text line, Michael says, Broncos going to get that win, and then we're coming to Burrowhead. And then also, Max, this is directed at you from listener Alan on the FB Bank text line. He goes, tell Max I'll take that action of Bills by 18. Says he'll take that action with you.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. I love the Broncos to come to Arrowhead because we know what's going. Look at this. I mean, I'm not going to go too far into it, but you guys played your JV team like it was a playoff game because you had to. So we know what you're wrong. Spags had all that time to prepare for if you were to come to Arrowhead, it would not be good for you guys. And you can clip that, save it, ship it, send it. It would not be good for the Broncos to come to Arrowhead. Well, it'd be good because you beat the Bills. Congrats, but it's not happening.
We'll see. All right, let's get to our final break. Come back to high school basketball talk next in Blitz.
Attention farmers and agri-professionals. Tweed Insurance is celebrating 10 years of service with a can't-miss precision farming seminar. Join them on January 13th at 5:30 p.m. at the Event Center in Colby, Kansas. Learn cutting-edge techniques in precision planning and harvesting to maximize efficiency, save money, and streamline your claims process. Ben Hoding boasts over 25 years of crop insurance expertise and has precision farming experts coming in for this event that is open to everyone. RSVP today by calling Tweed Insurance. Plus, food and refreshments will be available.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out the great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
He talks about sports on the radio.
Being a nonpartisan person when it comes to the Broncos and the Chiefs is so much fun. Gosh, I love this. Reading the text line, you stirring the drink. Gosh, how much I want to be able to clip that. And especially at the part where it says, you can clip that and then have the Broncos win.
Could not be less worried. Could not be less worried about that happening.
Just
wait.
like
I mean,
when
if
KU,
the Broncos win, if
plays Mickey Mouse games.
what happened?
Just like KU when they lost to Missouri because Missouri played.
I have so much less confidence in KU basketball than I do for the Chiefs. Look, I watched every highlight from every single game this year a couple nights ago of the Chiefs.
Highlight. Wow.
Every highlight.
You were bored.
Every highlight. Every year there's an hour-long video of highlights from the entire season. I'm feeling pretty confident right now, and Broncos fans can try me all they want. I'm not worried about your screen pass, bubble screen, little Bo Nix, whatever.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Bring it to Arrowhead. It's not going to happen.
All right. As we move into the final segment of the show, I want to get to some local sports real quickly here. We'll talk some basketball in a second. A lot of stuff. Yes, last night, a little bit of wrestling. You had Decatur Community beat Hitchcock County in a duel 45-18. They're heading to Norton's J.R. Durham Invite. So is Goodland, Rawlins County, other area teams too. That's girls today and boys on Saturday. Girls and boys for Hoxie competing at Dodge City's Invitational today and tomorrow. Colby boys and girls going to the Salina Invite this weekend. And Oakley boys and girls will be at the Rossville Invitational on Saturday for some wrestling. You've got plenty of high school basketball tonight. Shiloh hosting Northern Valley. Tri-Plains Brewster taking on Weskin. Golden Plains versus Western Plains. Wallace County hosts Rollins County. Oakley hosts Plainville. Quinter taking on Dighton today. And then they have Hanover. I don't know how this got scheduled. In Hanover, I think, on Saturday at Kansas Wesleyan. Quinter is taking them on. So, and then you've got Colby going to Hugoton, which you can hear on 100 Point Through the Ride, and Goodland hosting Ulysses right here on Rocket 1025. Quick thoughts on the Colby Hugoton games tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned Hugoton's good school, good environment. So excited to get out there. Make sure to tune in to the pregame show about 20 minutes before the game starts. So about 5:40, because I had Casey and Carol on. Well, actually, also the boys' interview will be in between games, of course. But the girls' interview you'll hear at 6:40, which was with Logan Nolan, Elizabeth Barton, Allie Flanagan, and Brent Staley. All were in the studio. So some good stuff from there. And so I'm excited to get out there, and hopefully the girls can bounce back. They've had a tough loss against Hoxie. They were telling me, Hoxie's a good basketball team, and they just didn't get the best out of the Lady Eagles. And then the boys trying to continue a little 2-game win streak they're on, continue to roll in this basketball season. But yeah, I think both teams are in a good spot right now, in my opinion. I know the girls lost, but I think both teams are in a pretty solid spot.
Tonight will be a great test for both of them in both games. Hugoton is young, but they are aggressive, and they are going to be in their faces and forcing turnovers. It'll be a great test for this veteran Oakley. The Hawks going around the whole area. Colby lineup on the girls' side will be a very good test to see how they handle the pressure tonight. That will be very interesting to see. And then how do the boys handle that great environment? And, Hugoton's a really good basketball program. They have been for a long time. So this will be a very stiff test for them. So it'll be very interesting. Goodland gets to host Ulysses, looking to bounce back from a couple of losses on Tuesday to Holcomb. It's nothing offense to Ulysses, but it shouldn't be as difficult as an opponent. Ulysses girls are building, but it's a very slow build for them. They don't have a lot of size. They're not a great shooting team. If Goodland can go out there and play good defense and do what they do and rebound and limit second chapter opportunities and then just make their bunnies, I think they have a good chance. Goodland's the bigger team. They're the more talented team. They should be able to take care of business against Ulysses on the girls' side. Boys game, I'm a big fan of Matt Cox. I feel like he's done a really good job with that program down there. Although last year, I think they had 8 wins or something like that last year. They probably should have gotten into double digits. They had 5 games. They lost by less than 5 points. I mean, that's just a tough pill. And they were such a senior-laden group last year. They're a younger group this year. Cowboys got to get back to just playing basketball as a team, which means moving the ball and cutting and passing and all that stuff. And I understand that sometimes you get in a lull and you got to go get a bucket. I get that, and that's fine. You can do that from time to time, but everybody needs to be moving, cutting, passing. Once again, stealing Coach Dahl's line. The ball needs to have energy, moving the ball around. Do that. I think you have a chance tonight of taking down Ulysses and getting back on the right path heading into Colby on Tuesday. So should be a couple of winnable games tonight for Goodland against the Ulysses team that's a little bit outmatched. So as long as you come in and take care of business, you should be all right on that front. Also, college basketball for this weekend. You've got Colby Community College men and women hosting Barton at the Event Center Saturday. Should be a couple of good games there. You've got number 11 KU at Cincinnati. That is a 1 o'clock Central Time tip Saturday on Flower Country 97.9. K-State will host number 12 Houston at 5 Central Time on 100.3 The Ride. And Sunday, you've got Colorado hosting West Virginia and Nebraska taking on Purdue in West Lafayette. Your college basketball slate for the weekend. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Want to remind folks that if you're looking for something to do on Saturday, you can check out a local athlete playing in the Navy All-American game, which is on NBC. I believe it's at 11 Central, or it's 11 Mountain Noon Central Time, around that time. Lincoln Cure will be playing in the Navy All-American game. Should check that out. Very interesting. Some of the best talent coming up here in the football realm will be playing in the Navy All-American game, and Lincoln Cure is on that. He's been getting some opportunities for interesting to see how he pans out in that. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, looking forward to this weekend, Max. Plenty of football. I know you're excited.
A lot of football. Pumped up.
He's excited. He's just about as excited as he is to head down to Hugoton.
All
right.
Couldn't be farther from the truth.
That'll do it for our show. Catch Max tonight, 100 points to the ride, myself on Rocket 102.5. Remember, icy conditions tomorrow in the listening region, so be safe. And we'll talk to you on a Monday here on the Morning Blitz. Have a great week.